Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger Much Bold, the Mindset for Success, and today I want to talk to you about making the leap. Making the proverbial leap, maybe making the actual leap, the leap of faith maybe. In other words, taking the action you need to take in order to really start achieving your potential, to start realizing that possibility that's in your life for you. So I want you to think about an area of your life that you already know that you either feel like you're being held back from or you're holding yourself back from. And I want to share with you the mindset mechanics that sit behind that inaction. So I want you to imagine caveman and cavewoman. And we have a caveman on one side of a ditch and we have a cavewoman on the other side of a ditch. Now there's a huge reward for our caveman to jump over that ditch in order to get the cavewoman. There's a huge reward associated with that. So there's no problem at the moment. He's incredibly motivated to make that leap until we start looking at other aspects of the equation. So let's say that this ditch is about 10 or 12 feet deep. So if he doesn't make the distance, there's a possibility that he might break a leg. If he breaks a leg at the bottom of this ditch, he's probably going to die. Let's add to that a saber-toothed tiger that has also fallen into the ditch, and therefore if he falls into the ditch, even if the fall doesn't kill him, the saber-toothed tiger will. So now you can see the mindset mechanics, the equation playing out between the perceived reward of making that leap versus the risk of if you fail. That's just two parts of the equation, but you can see how they're going to play off each other. And now he might not be quite so sure, quite so certain about making that leap. The reward might not be worth the risk. But there's other forces at play here as well. So I want you now to also think about the doubts that our caveman might have. The doubts that he can make the distance. Maybe the doubts that she's worth it. Maybe the doubts that she's going to give him what he thinks he's going to get. So now he's got the doubt that he can make it, the doubt whether it's worth it, plus he's got the risks playing out of if it goes wrong. So you can see this equation now is starting to very rapidly tip in favor of inaction as opposed to action. And there's more forces still at foot. We've got the effort involved in making that leap. There's an amount of effort. So I want you to think of effort like a price you've got to pay. Imagine it's like money. You know, if I said to you, do you want a Bentley? You might think, yeah, I have a Bentley. Brilliant. We'll just work really, really hard and spend 100 grand. You get a Bentley. And you're thinking, no, it's not worth it. That's the effort we're talking about, okay? It's not worth it. So now we've got the amount of effort involved versus the risk, the doubts of whether she's worth it, the doubts that he can make it versus the potential, the perceived reward of if he does make it. It's starting to really start to tip in favor of not making that leap. It's not worth it. But we also have one other thing, which is belief. So I call this positive belief. So our doubts, if you like, could be negative beliefs. But we're talking about positive belief. So the belief that she is worth it, the belief that it's good for him, the belief that he can make it. Also on top of that, the belief that if he doesn't make it, it's still worth it. This is a big one, by the way. Even if he doesn't make the leap and he falls to his death, it's still worth making the leap. It's still worth trying to do it. It's still worth going for it because it's all tipped in his favor. Now, the chances are, I've asked you to think about an area of your life that you're not taking action on, that your scales are very much tipped towards inaction, of course. You've got the rewards there, which is maybe why you would like to take action and why you'd like to progress your life or your business. But you've got these fears, these threats, these efforts that are in there, these doubts that are in there, and you've got some positive belief it's pushing you. So here's the thing. We can tip the scales. You see, I talked about the perception of the reward already, but also there's the perception of the risk. Now in our caveman example, there's a very real risk that he could break his leg and die or get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. The chances are, in the thing that you're not taking action on, where you're not making your leap, the chances are it's not actually going to kill you. It's probably not actually anything that is a real tangible risk. Now, I don't know what you're working on. It could be. It could be you're thinking about selling your house and taking the money and putting it into a new idea. It might be remortgaging your home. I don't know. It could be emigrating to another country. So there could be some real genuine risks. Genuine risks, not physical threats, which is what this whole process was there to protect us from, but there are some kind of real threats, real prices that you might have to pay if it goes wrong. But the chances are most of our inaction doesn't come from real threat, it comes from the perception of the threat. And if it is a real threat, it's not the real threat, it's the perception of that real threat. In other words, if I lose my house, I will die. If I lose my house, it will be the end of everything. Well, that's not true, is it? You lose your house, and we want to weigh that up in the equation, but it's not going to kill you. You're not going to die. You're not going to lose everything. So quite often, even if there is a real threat, it's not the real threat that's really playing out in this equation. It's the perception of that threat. The same as the doubts. It's the perception of the doubt. It's the perception that I might not be good enough. We can change all this around. The perception of that effort. If it was really worth it, you'd be doing it. So we can actually change the perception of that effort. We can start to do it. So the way we do it is really simple. We start pumping up the reward, focusing on that reward, start really truly looking at the benefits and what we're going to get if we succeed. Now, this isn't blindly looking at the rewards and forgetting about everything else, okay? But this is looking at just those rewards and really focusing on those rewards. You'll start to feel like you want to go, and that shows you the mechanism, the mindset mechanics are working. We focus on the reward, I want to go. I then want to focus on the risk. If you focus on the risks, very quickly you'll say, no, I don't want to go. You then focus on the effort involved. I don't want to do it. It doesn't seem worth it. I focus on my doubts. I don't want to do it. I don't think I can achieve it, or it's not going to give me what I want. Focus on your positive beliefs. You want to go again. So you can play with this just by how you focus on these things. So we can tip these scales by actually starting to break these things down. What are the real rewards? And then I want you to open those rewards up into new rewards and bigger rewards. Keep finding more and more rewards. The more reward we have, the more motivated we're going to be. Positive belief. Go hunting in yourself and find that belief in yourself. Develop that belief. Maybe you need to go away, jump some smaller ditches, show yourself you can make the distance before you come back to this big ditch. You don't have to do it right now. You might want to go away, train, practice, come back and go again. Develop that positive belief in yourself. Work on those doubts. Get rid of the doubts that don't serve you, the ones that actually don't serve you at all. Look at the doubts that might serve you. So, the doubt that it's worth it, look at that. Break it down. What's actually going on? Don't let the mechanics play out and manipulate you. I want you to get involved into the process, and I want you to decide from a cognitive level, as opposed to an emotional level, what the right thing is to do. Once you've decided that making the leap is the right thing to do, you've cognitively, consciously, with all your intelligence and all your smarts, have decided that, I want to go for this, then you want to go 100%. There is no point holding back. There's no point trying to jump this leap. There's no point half jumping, because all of those are going to get you killed in the caveman metaphor. In real life, I assume it isn't going to get you killed. What it's going to do, though, is it's going to hold you back. You're not really going to commit. You're not really going to get the result. So once you've made your decision with all the information, you've weighed up the risks, you've looked at the doubts, you've gone into the information, you've made your decision from the highest level you can that this is the right thing to do, you want to give it everything you can. The way you do that is you start getting rid of those risks. You stop looking at the risks, you stop focusing on those risks, you stop focusing on the doubts, and all you do is keep focusing on the rewards, you keep focusing on what it's going to bring you, what it's going to give you, you focus on all the positive beliefs and everything else, and you stop looking at that other stuff. If there's stuff in there you need to deal with, go and deal with it. Go and get some therapy on some stuff that's holding you back. I'm not good enough, I have some confidence issues. Go and do some therapy, go and get a self-help book, go and join a club like mine, get over those things, work on those issues that enable you to tip the balance so you get to make the leap. Does this make sense? There's a caveman in you still, and it's still manipulating you. It's manipulating you with how much motivation, how much drive, how much you go for things, how much you hold back from things. It's not real most of the time, okay? If you're rock climbing without a rope, there's a very real risk there that you're gonna die, and you might wanna weigh that up. And for most of us, we don't wanna go rock climbing without ropes. Some people do, because you know what? Their brain is already tipping the balance. The reward of doing this without a rope, the sense of achievement, the fulfillment, the freedom, whatever it is, outweighs any risk of falling or death or whatever it might be. There's a very real risk there. Their brain just is weighing that up. Maybe they've weighed it up themselves. Chances are not. Emotionally, the scales are tipped in favor of making that leap. So this is a really long video for me on here. I hope you've stuck to the end, because I think it's a very powerful message. It's not you that's holding yourself back, okay? It's not you that's being held back or anything else. What it is an unconscious equation that says that the risk and the doubt and the effort outweigh the rewards and your positive belief. Tip the equation through changing your perception, and the scales will tip in favor of you taking action. You can't just do this once. You do it once, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel different straight away, more motivated straight away, but you need to consistently do this, because the brain will come in but say, yeah, but, and then tomorrow it will say, we made a decision yesterday, but now I'm scared because of this. We have to keep on, we have to keep altering that equation, and then our brain will manipulate us into taking that leap. And that's what my whole message is always about. It's about influencing those systems that are already manipulating us. You're already being held back through manipulation of this equation playing out in our archaic caveman brain. We are intelligent, we are smart, but most people don't use it. If we start to use our power, our consciousness, our cognitive, our thinking prowess, we get to influence that system that is manipulating us. And now we can influence it to do what we want it to do rather than what it's learnt to do, that it perceives as keeping us safe, but is actually holding us back. 10 minutes, probably the longest video I'm going to put out on this YouTube channel. I hope you've watched to the end. I hope you take note of this. It's one of the most powerful things that I share with people to get them out of inaction into action. You're not broken, nothing's wrong. There's an equation playing out, and guess what? We get to go in there and we get to tweak that equation. Until next time, be successful.